Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, we're going to be looking at some of Xavi's pre-match press conference quotes. We're going to be looking at what Xavi is looking and thinking ahead of the game against PSG. And then as well, we're going to be looking at Pedri's quotes, in the pre-match press conference. And then as well, Luis Enrique's and Hakimi's. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Make sure to go over there and check me out. That way you can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into it and let's look at some of the words from Xavi's press conference before the second leg clash against PSG. For us, it is a very big opportunity as a club. We play at home, and Montujic has to look like the big knights at the camp. Now, PSG will not go out to speculate and will match our system man for man. We have to show a lot of personality to move on to. It will be a brave PSG, and we have an advantage playing at home. But it will be a very difficult match. We are excited in the good sense of the word. Right there, you see some of the excitement from Xavi as we're heading into what's going to be our biggest game of the season and our biggest week of the season. Uh, I like both Pedri and Gundogan. I imagine them giving the last pass. It's the great quality they have. They give us pause and tempo. Tomorrow is a difficult game for the midfielders. We will be in front of one of the most intense teams in the world. Yes, Gundogan and Pedri have space and time. We will have a lot to gain. Now, guys, later tonight when we do our Monday weekly episode, we're gonna be talking about that. Hey, who should be playing in that pivot position? Because in the speculation in the media right now is that Frankie de Jong, he will be the pivot for tomorrow's clash. But for example, who's going to be partnering Frankie de Jong in that pivot? Should it be Gundogan or should it be Pedri? And obviously, all three of them, the more offensive type of midfielders, and the loss of Christensen and Sergio Roberto, it's pretty big. And this is where Xavi, he talks about that loss. The losses of Christensen and Sergi are very sensitive. The sanctions hurt us. The key for tomorrow is to be a team. We have to give our all and our lives to get to the semifinals. If we are a team, we will have numbers to get to the semifinal. And with the absence of Sergio Roberto and the absence of Christensen, now I know these guys aren't big names, but structurally they're so key. You saw at the start of the season how badly Barcelona struggled without a proper CDM, and you saw how the midfield of Frankie De Jong, Pedri, and Gundogan, it wasn't the same. We were getting exposed, we were getting countered. It's we just can't run like that. And tomorrow, it's going to be a big day for Xavi. And now he talks about Pedri. All those who will be called up can play the 90 minutes. With Pedri, we will talk about fatigue. Pedri has to be very important. Pedri is obviously going to start in the match. There was some speculation to say, hey, is Pedri, going to start, or should Fermin Lopez start in his place? And now, lastly, guys, the last couple of quotes I'm going to be talking about is the dangers of PSG. Luis Enrique and PSG have so many options that you don't know what variant they can use. We have to understand that we must have a very clear structure. Tomorrow we will repeat with some variant. This is about footballers. Our footballers were at a brilliant level. PSG or Luis Enrique's teams always go on the attack, even more so tomorrow when they are losing on the scoreboard. If they have not speculated throughout the season, tomorrow even less so. And this is something that Barcelona are going to have to keep an eye on and be laser focused. I share the sentiment that PSG from the opening start, they're going to be super intense. They're going to go straight at Barcelona, trying to equalize the game in like the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just try to equalize the game, and then from there on, 0-0, we start again. And that's where us as Barcelona fans and to the team, we're gonna have to be prepared and focus in order to survive in those intense period of moments. Because you saw how in the first leg, 10 minutes, PSG completely turned around the game, and we cannot allow that to happen in the second leg. And if that happens, we do have to be mentally prepared and mentally like solid and prepared in order to for example to face that head on. And lastly, guys, Xavi calls it, and he says tomorrow we need the Montajic to be a cauldron. It's very important for the club, and I'm sure the fans will help us. And continuing on, he says this in regards to to the match, and he says tomorrow it will be, I envision a match very similar to the first leg. It will be a very important war. So there's Xavi's basically saying there will be war against PSG on Tuesday. And lastly, guys, only talking about Dembele before we move on to Pedri's pre-match conference. And this is what he says in regards to Dembele. What happened to Usman made me feel bad because he was an extraordinary moment, and he was in an extraordinary moment here. Apologies. I don't hold a grudge against him, and tomorrow I will greet him with all the respect. I have a lot of affection for him, and right there, you should just see how Dembele has freaking, basically repaid him, just celebrating against the club. And he basically says like, hey, tomorrow the fans, they're gonna show what they want. And basically he's already basically teasing how PSG, no, how the Barcelona fans are going to greet the PSG players. They're going to boo him and everything. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But now, guys, moving on to Pedri's words ahead of the game. This is what he has to say, looking ahead. The team is very eager and excited to face a game as important as the one we have tomorrow. I'm coming from a not good moment personally, but I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Obviously, Pedri, he's coming from another injury. Just it wasn't the best moment for him, especially. And tomorrow's going to be a very, very big and important game in which he has to show up. I'm lucky that when I enter the field, I don't think about the injuries I've had. I'm at the best I can be. The desire and enthusiasm make up for everything else. I am very calm, and I know that Barca is going to maintain what we have talked about. Now, this is in regards to Pedri's contract renewal. In previous videos, I've talked about it, how, Barcelona and Pedri, they are in talks, for a contract renewal. And it's so key to have Pedri stay with the squad. Even though, he is injury prone, he's still one of the most talented youngsters on the planet. Looking ahead to the clash, it may be the most important, like the semifinals of the Euro Cup, of the Euros. I have been thinking about hosting these nights at Barcelona for a long time. Something has had to influence Xavi's announcement. We have had a very long streak, and we have improved in keeping clean sheets and being forceful at the back. This makes the difference. And lastly, guys, he talks about the favoritism. He says this. It's true that everyone likes to talk about favoritism. I think we are two very even teams, and it's going to be a nice game for the spectator. We will try to do our best to win it. And now he moves on to the mentality about the team. Yes, it is an improvement mentally. When they scored a goal against us, we went 10 to 15 minutes doubting it. We are young, and it's something that we are going to improve over time. In Paris, we turned it around, and we have a lot of credit for what we did. It's something that I haven't needed a psychologist. With the trainers, we have done a spectacular job. We face it with great enthusiasm and desire. We want to give the joy to the fans. I would tell them to be with us. We will go out and do our best. Now, guys, looking at Pedri's words, both Xavi and Pedri, they're looking at the game with enthusiasm. The game isn't over. They understand that this is going to be a final. This is going to be a super intense match. And in order to advance to the semifinals, we're going to have to give it our all. We're going to have to be, there just, hustling, running like we've never done before. And, every single player is going to have to do their part in order, to beat PSG. And now, we looked at Barcelona's side of things. We looked at Xavi's words. We looked at Pedri's words. And now let's look at Luis Enrique's words. Now, I'm not going to be looking over the entire press conference because, we're not PSG fans here. But we're going to be looking at the headlines, of the match. And this is what Luis Enrique has to say, about the game. We analyzed the first leg. We did not deserve to lose. A draw would have been fair. Okay, well, I don't know about that. And continuing on, he says, we are absolutely convinced that we will overturn the result. And as I said before, PSG, they're coming with a sense of hunger, a sense of ambition, of intensity. And, it's being, transmitted from the squad. And La Parisian, they basically reported this, that Kylian Mbappe's entourage, they're saying that Kylian arrives in Barcelona with a feeling of taking revenge against Barcelona. And, guys, I'm telling you this here and now. Kylian Mbappe, at some point in the match, he will turn up. He will turn up because, Kylian Mbappe, one of the best players in the world, he cannot go for 120 minutes. No, 180 minutes. What am I talking about? 180 minutes. It's going to be very, very hard. And Barcelona, they're going to have to do, as a collective, do an insane job in order to stop Kylian Mbappe. But it's not only Kylian Mbappe; it's the entirety of that PSG squad. And a player who's going to be super, super key is Hakimi. Hakimi, he is back from suspension, and he's going to be a player who PSG are going to be relying on, to bomb down on that right hand side and create danger for Barcelona's back line. And, Joao Cancelo is going to have a humongous task in stopping him, as well as Rafinha. But guys, now looking at some of the stats for tomorrow, in tomorrow's match, tons of Barcelona fans are going to be at the stadium, filling the Estadio Montjuic. And a report from Mundo Deportivo is saying that there are barely any tickets left into the match. It's almost sold out. And Joan Laporta, Xavi, the team, and the fans, they want to make the stadium a pressure cooker. They want to make it a very hostile environment for PSG and just make their lives extremely unbearable. And having all those fans being there, it's going to generate over 8 million euros from ticket sales, and merchandise and everything like that. And so Barcelona, playing these games in the Champions League is so important financially. And receiving 8 million from just one game against PSG, that's a very, very good sign. And if we do, get past PSG, in the quarterfinals. This is an interesting stat because if Barcelona get past PSG tomorrow, they will make their 18th Champions League semifinal history. Of course, between 2005 and 2006 and 2014, 2015, Barcelona reached 8 semifinals. But ever since 2018, there have only been, once since, in that 2018, 2019 season. But we will want to make that too. And looking at tomorrow's game, guys, it's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be super intense. And check out our video later tonight, in which we're going to be doing a preview and just analyzing the PSG game and giving our thoughts ahead of it. And it's going to be an absolutely mouth-watering tie. And we're also going to be looking ahead to the other UCL matches. But guys, tomorrow there will be war in Barcelona, and let's hope that our players in our team can advance to the semifinals of the Champions League. But guys, thank you guys all for watching. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on everything that we discussed on today's video. What do you guys make of Xavi and Pedri's words? And as always, guys, thank you guys all for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys all on the next video.